Do something different the next 90 days than you did the last 90 days, like picking up the books to read. Do something different, like the new health disciplines, relationship with your family, whatever it is, doesn't matter how small it is. If you'll start doing different things with the same circumstances, since we cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. We can change what we do. And then he gave me another secret to success when he said, what you have at the moment, Mr. Rohn, you've attracted by the person you've become. What you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you've become. Few little simple principles here. Once you understand these, it starts to explain so much. Now, sometimes it's a little tough to take, blaming yourself instead of the marketplace. Taking responsibility instead of putting it off on someone else. That transition sometimes is a challenging mission. And this one was a little tough for me. He said, Mr. Rohn, you've got pennies in your pocket, you've got nothing in the bank, the creditors are calling, you're behind on your promises. And he says, here's how that occurs. You've attracted, up until now, you've attracted the things to you because of the person you've become. Now I said, well, how can I change all that? He said, very simple. If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes. And he said, it'll all change for you. Shoaff said, here's the secret, Mr. Rohn. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Once I got that, it turned my life around. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. He said, if you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Wow. If you would have known me at age 25, you would have said, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. If you'd have known me, you'd have said that. I'm the guy, I don't mind coming a little bit early, staying a little bit late. I don't mind that. You'd have said, well, Jim Rohn's a hard worker. You say, well, how come he's got pennies in his pocket and nothing in the bank and behind on his promises? Well, I was a hard worker, but I was working hard on my job, not on myself. I'm telling you, if you'll learn that simple little principle and start the process today, latest tomorrow, give you tonight to think it over. And start this whole process of personal development, work on yourself, make yourself more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, you can so dynamically change your income, and economics is the least of the values that you can start earning in terms of equity if you'll start working harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on yourself and develop the skills. Work hard on yourself and develop the graces. All of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Promotions, no problem. Becoming more valuable to the company, I'm telling you, no problem. Money, no problem. Economics, no problem. Future, no problem. If you just go to work on the right thing. Not get things out there to change. Don't try to change the seed. Don't change the soil. Don't change the sunshine. Don't change the rain. Don't change the mix of seasons. Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you, and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your personality. Work on your language. Work on the gift of communication. Work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue, chase, run after. Success is something you develop, something you become. You attract success. So the whole key to unlock all the treasures, whether it's economic treasures or spiritual treasures, financial, social, personal, every way you can possibly think of, is by your own personal development. And then he added one more, which is so important, and it's probably worth the price of the seminar. Here it is. What you become is much more valuable than what you get. what you become is much more valuable than what you get. The major question to ask on the job is not what am I getting here. The major question to ask on the job is what am I becoming here? Not what am I getting, what am I becoming? So it's very important what you become. Because what you become attracts. If you become cynical, you attract cynicism. What you become attracts. So this whole subject of personal development was so vitally important to me. It changed my life. I was a millionaire by age 31. And that was just the economic part of it. It took me 6 years from age 25 to age 31. It was unbelievable. Mr. Schoaf, over a 5-year period before he died at age 49, who taught me some extraordinarily simple things. He only went to the 9th grade in school, never finished high school, never went to college, never went to university. So he put his ideas and his experiences in very simple language, which I think for me, a kid from the farms of Idaho, that simplicity was so important. Because if it would have been technical, I'd have missed it. If it would have been mystic, I would have, backed away. But it was just basic, blunt, ABC, familiar stuff that I hadn't thought of before. And he did start to remind me, and those ideas changed my life. Mr. Schoaf was the one when I said, this is all they pay. He said, you've been working 6 years, Mr. Rohn, how come you're not doing better? And I said, this is all the company pays. He says, well, that's not true. I said, no, this is my paycheck. This is all the company pays. He said, no, this is all the company pays you. I thought, that's a new way to look at it, right? He said, doesn't the company pay 2, 3, 4, 5 times this amount to other people? I said, well, yes. He said, well, then this is not all the company pays. It's all they pay you. And if you qualified, wouldn't your income grow 2, 3, 4, 5 times? I said, I suppose. So he said, we don't have to work on the company. We have to work on you. See, that was the beginning of what he called the phrase personal development. I told him things cost too much. He said, no, you can't afford them. I thought, well, that's a new concept. I hadn't thought about that. We put some of the valuable things on the high shelf, so you can't get to them until you qualify. If you want the things on the higher shelf, you got to stand on the books you read. Every book you read, you get to stand a little higher so you can get the things on the higher shelf. See, I learned those concepts. It was so incredible. And here was the most important one. Success is something you attract by the person you become. See, that phrase changed my life. Success is something you attract by the person you become. Success is not something you pursue. It's like chasing a butterfly. You can't quite catch it. Success is something you attract by becoming an attractive person. See, those were new concepts to me. I'm just working hard trying to make a living. Here's what he said to me. This changed my life. I got a chance to teach this in Moscow and across Russia. 3 visits, now the 4th. Here's what Schoaf taught me. Profits are better than wages. Nobody taught me that in high school. Nobody taught me that. I went to 1 year of college. Nobody taught me. Profits are better than wages. Wages make you a living. Profits make you a fortune. And how could you work on both a living and a fortune? He said, well, you could start part-time working on your fortune while you're working full-time on your living. I thought, wow. Now, he said, it's fun to get up in the morning. Not just getting up, go to work to pay the rent, but to get up to go to work to make a fortune. First, to make a living for my family. Second, to make a fortune. And he taught me how to make both a living and a fortune. Guess what I did? I learned how to make both a living and a fortune. And I found out anybody could do it once they get the information. And at age 25, I started receiving this extraordinary information. Here's what he said. Your income is directly related to your philosophy, not to the economy. I thought, no one ever told me that. I kept hoping the economy would change. He said, no, your philosophy has to change. I assured him that I had my fingers crossed. He said, that won't help. Then what could I do to change my income and multiply it by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10, and then multiply it by 10 again? What could I do? And he started giving me the disciplines and the process of learning the skills to change my life. This was an extraordinary man. Those were extraordinary times for me, life-changing in every manner that you can imagine, but very simple ABC concepts. Here's what I learned. Not to search for the exotic until you've discovered the basic. And those basic philosophies that he shared with me during that time were life-changing. Now, if you're excited and you're ready to change, let me give you 3 steps to start life change that can change your life, your personality, your lifestyle, everything can change. Here's the steps. Number 1, find out how things work. The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change. And Schoaf taught me the major problem is lack of an idea, not a problem. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Schoaf, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. Right? I was confused. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. It isn't lack of money, it's lack of ideas. So if you get the ideas, see, you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Schoaf also said, when you find out something that works, put the information in your journal. Don't use your head for a filing cabinet. Put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. And if you repeat it, go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your dress, and your personality, and your lifestyle. But capture the ideas in your journal. Find out how things work. Schoaf gave me this word for my life change. He said, study. Great word. If you wish to be successful, study success. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. If you wish to be wealthy, study wealth. Don't leave it to chance. Make it a study. Some people just go through the day with their fingers crossed. See, that won't do it. You've got to study the things that can change your economic, social, spiritual, personal life. Now, here's a qualifying phrase. And we'll have several of these qualifying phrases throughout the seminar. Here's the first one. You may not be able to do all you find out. I understand that. You may not be able to do all you find out, but you should find out all you can do. See, you don't want to wind up at the end of your life and discover that you've lived only 1/10 of it. And the other 9/10 went down the drain. Not for lack of opportunity, for lack of information. So that's number 1, find out how things work. Now, here's the best human virtue for finding out. Curiosity. Make a note of that. Curiosity. Be curious. You might add a word to it that'll help. Childish curiosity. What will kids do if they want to know something bad enough? Bug you. That's the phrase. They can ask 1,000 questions. You think they're through? They got another 1,000. They'll drive you to the brink. It's a virtue. When you gotta know, be like a child. Now, if you're curious, let me give you 3 ways to find out how to change anything. Any life direction, any dimension. Here's 3 ways to find out how to change anything. Number 1 is to read. Become a good reader. All of the successful people I know and work with around the world, they're all good readers. Curiosity drives them to read. They got to know. They just read. Become a good reader. Now, that's my opinion. Listen to the other lecturers and listen to me and make up your own mind. Don't be a follower. Be a student. Okay? I say, really, for life change, you got to read. One way to learn is from your own experiences, but another way to learn is from other people's experiences. See, one book might save you 5 years if you read it. Did you know there's books on how to be stronger, more decisive, be a speaker, be a leader, have a better effect on other people, develop your personality? Did you know there's books on that? And people don't read them? How would you explain that? And they can read. Did you know that hundreds of successful people have written their stories in books and they wrote down how they did it and people don't read it? How would you explain that? The guy's busy, I guess. You know, you get tied up. The guy says, well, yeah, you work where I work, but the time you struggle home, it's late. You got to eat a bite of supper, watch a little TV, get to bed. You can't sit up half the night reading. And the guy's behind on his car payment. Good worker, hard worker, sincere. But you got to be better than sincere and work hard. Otherwise, at the end of your life, you'll wind up cold, stony broke. You got to be better than a good worker. You got to be a good reader. My opinion. Now, you don't have to read half the night. Okay? Although if you're broke, that's not a bad place to start, right? Get on with the cure. But put this in your notes, 30 minutes a day. Just devote 30 minutes a day to reading. Stretch it to an hour if you can. But at least 30 minutes. 30 minutes a day. Read something positive, something challenging, something inspirational, something instructional. At least 30 minutes a day. And here's the next clue. Every day. Don't miss. Once you set this up, just don't miss. Miss a meal, but not your 30 minutes. Because you can get along without some meals, but you can't get along without some books. There's a Bible phrase that says humans cannot live on bread alone or just food. It says the next most important thing to food is words. Words nourish the mind, makes us different than animals and dogs. Words nourish the soul. So humans have to have food and words in order to be happy and healthy. I told my staff the other day, some people read so little, they've got rickets of the mind. They're undernourished mentally. So to get a good diet of words, I suggest good reading habits, 30 minutes a day. Now, some people don't read because they don't read well. I understand that. And the national average is fairly poor. People have fairly poor reading skills. They're still trying to operate on awkward old skills of the past, right? Reading one word at a time. And with such poor skills, when you read, the mind usually wanders. Because you can think about a lot of things. The mind is an incredible mechanism. And if you read poorly, the mind wanders around thinking of other things while you're trying to read. Did you ever read a page and wonder what it said? Right? Say, I got to read that again. Right? That's because the mind is just doing this job, right? Just wandering around. Did you ever read yourself to sleep? See, that's another problem. The mind says, who needs this? Just shuts off, right? Poor skills. Or a guy looks at a book, 500 pages, and says, no use starting, right? I mean, I'd never get through this one. Anyway, in our weekend seminar, we take a whole section, about 2-3 hours, and we go through reading skills. How to read a book a day is the title of that subject. And I'll tell you what, if you can read a book a day, it'll change your whole life. I mean, a book a day will change your whole life. Expose yourself to a whole variety of things. Spiritual, moral, personal, economic, history, geography, everything. I mean, you can really change if you read a book a day. So you might want to attend the weekend, get in on those reading class skills. It's incredible. A book a day will change your life. But hey, whether you read slow or fast, or whether you read awkwardly or whether you read well, here's the key. Read. Don't miss. Here's what reading is. Reading is tapping the treasure of ideas. That's what reading is. Tapping the treasure of ideas. And ideas can change any part of your life. And if you've got a good excuse not to tap the treasure of ideas at least 30 minutes a day, or spend the money and get the books, I'd love to hear it. Some people have excuses you wouldn't believe. I say, John, look, I got this gold mine. I got so much gold, I don't know what to do with it all. Come on over and dig. John says, I ain't got a shovel. I say, well, John, get you one. He says, you know what they want for shovels? Let me give you the two books that started my library at age 25. My library now is worth many, many, many thousands of dollars, but it started with two books. Mr. Schoaf recommended these to me, got me started. Schoaf said, become self-educated. He said, standard education will get you standard results. And you can check those numbers and see if that's what you want. But if you want to go beyond that, you now have got to become self-educated. So he got me started on my library. He said, one of the ways is build your library. Now, I had a Bible, right? That was 66 books, so that's a pretty good deal. But here's what else he recommended. He said, number one, get the book, Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich, if you don't already have it. The title should intrigue you. Think and Grow Rich. I found that book in a secondhand bookstore. I paid 47 cents for it. I've still got it. It's one of the rare hardback covers. I read it several dozen times. Schoaf taught me repetition is the mother of skill. Some of the ideas in that book helped to change my life. As I look back on it now, the book was worth several $100,000, and I bought it for 47 cents. What a lesson I learned, the difference between cost and value. Before I met Mr. Schoaf, I used to ask, how much does it cost? After I met Mr. Schoaf, I asked, how much is it worth? I started basing my life on worth instead of cost, and everything changed. But that was book one, Think and Grow Rich. The second book he recommended I get was a book on nutrition. Schoaf said, study nutrition. I think that first book was by Adele Davis. Eat Right to Keep Fit, I think. I've got lots of them now, but I think that was the first one. Schoaf said study nutrition, and there's all kinds of books on nutrition. Just read them all. Some are a little weird, but read them all. Right? If you're weird, do the weird stuff. I mean, whatever. But read them, then make up your own mind. Remember, don't read and become a follower. Read and become a student. Make up your mind, find a plan that works good for you, but get the books on nutrition. Here's what Mr. Schoaf said to me. Vitality plays an important part in doing well. Vitality. He said some people don't do well because they don't feel well. It's not that they're not intelligent. It's that they're ill. They don't have the zing and the fire and the vitality to do well. So he put it right on me about studying nutrition. He said, Jim, you wouldn't believe it. He said, I got this friend of mine raises racehorses. The guy's got 9 books on how to feed horses. He does not have a book on how to feed himself. He said, my friend studies horse nutrition. Studies it. Vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, protein, amino acids, carbohydrates, fats, enzymes, proper balance for his horses. Schoaf said, he's a fanatic. And he said, you ought to see his horses. They're magnificent, beautiful, powerful animals. They can run like the wind. And he said, you ought to see him. He's a wreck. He said, the guy feeds his horses better than he feeds himself. Do you believe that? In my later studies, I discovered Some people feed their dogs better than they feed their kids, if you can believe that. Anyway, I didn't mean to give you a health lecture here tonight, okay? But hey, take care of yourself. Work on that part, because it's one of the answers to doing well. There's even a Bible phrase that says, many times the spirit is willing, but the body's weak. Now see, you're in trouble. And that is a problem. You wake up in the morning and the mind says, let's go get them. And the body says, I can't even get out of bed. So you got to work on both sides of this, right? Okay. But get your library started. Get the books. Put it together. Books are the trademark of civilization. It's fascinating to walk into someone's home and browse through their library, because your library says something about you. So put your reading together. Very important. Here's the second way to find out how to change your life, and that's to listen. Get around successful people and listen. Now, you can also learn from unsuccessful people. Take notes on both, negative and positive. On the negative, the notes are called what not to do. And you got to learn what not to do as well as what to do. So learn from the negative as well as the positive. Okay? Find out what poor people read and don't read it. Right? That's good information. Learn from the negative. But now you can also learn from the positive. Get around successful people. Listen to what they say. Listen to how they say it. It's important. We've all got about 16 waking hours. Practice listening those 16 hours. And I say practice listening because listening isn't easy. I found out it's easier to talk than it is to listen. But if you will practice listening the 16 hours you're awake, sure enough, from surprising sources comes great ideas. In sales training we teach, if you want to learn sales, listen to the kids. Kids have got to be the master salespeople of all time. They have no equal. Father tells his young son, no, you cannot have an ice cream cone. 30 minutes later, he's licking on one. That'd be 30 minutes worth listening to. They got moves you wouldn't believe. Persistence runs deep like the ocean. And the kids never took a class on how to overcome objections. They already know how. They don't need classes. So listen and learn. Now, here's some of the best advice I've got for the whole evening. It won't get any better than this. This is it. Poor people ought to take rich people out to dinner and listen. That's some of the best I got. If a guy's not doing well, one of the first things he ought to do is find a guy that is doing well and offer to buy him his dinner. Spend $50, $60, $80, $100. Go for the full 9 course. Start him on the juices and hors d'oeuvres. Get him started talking. The salad takes 15 minutes. Keep it rolling. Biggest steak in town takes 45. Keep it rolling. Pour on the dessert. Stretch that meal out about 2 hours. If you get a successful person to eat and talk for 2 hours, they're liable to drop ideas in your lap, change your life. Multiply your income by 2, by 3, by 5. But you're right. Poor people don't usually take rich people out to dinner. That's the problem. The guy said he's rich, let him buy his own dinner. I'm not coming up with any money. And he says, besides, you work where I work. By the time you struggle home, it's late. You're lucky to get your own supper, let alone running around trying to find a rich man to feed. And the guy's behind on his house payment. Good worker, hard worker, sincere. But you got to be better than sincere. Work hard. You wind up broke. You got to be better than a good worker. You got to be a good listener. And remember, what you read and what you hear, put the good stuff in your journal. Now, here's the third way to find out how to change your life, and that's to observe. You can pick up a lot of ideas just by watching. Get around successful people and watch. Here's why. Success leaves clues. Watch how the man shakes hands. Watch how the lady responds. People who do well do certain things over and over and over and over. And if you're clever, you can pick them up. Watch it all. If a guy's making $10,000 a month, I'd watch how he walks. Maybe that's it. Copy his funny little walk. Somebody says, well, that's kind of a silly walk. Say, it's 10,000. I haven't got the money yet, but I got the walk. It's bound to start somewhere. What I ask you tonight is to be unusual and be a good observer of what's going on. You can pick up ideas that can change your life starting tomorrow. Just be a more careful observer. Now remember, there's two ways to see. One is called sight. See with your eyes. The other one is called insight. See with your mind. See with your eyes, you'll see things. See with your mind, you'll see answers. Put your eyes and your mind to work. And the best advice on developing sight and insight is pay attention. Don't miss anything. In the weekend seminar we teach, one of the greatest fatalities to success is preoccupation, lack of concentration. The guy's mind wanders. See, you wind up average. You've got to learn to zero in and concentrate. I read a good article one time, Reader's Digest. The title was, Wherever You Are, Be There. Excellent. Don't miss anything. Now, we've lingered a little bit long on number one here for personal development. Find out how things work, but it's so very important finding out. And I've given you 3 ways to find out. Now, here's the second step to personal development. Okay, number 1 was find out how things work. Here's number 2, go to work. You must now take action on what you found out. In doing business around the world, we call it game plan. Put together your game plan. One of the major things we teach on the weekend seminars, game plans. How to game plan your office. If you're in sales, you need a game plan. Kids need a game plan. You need a home game plan, social game plan, a business game plan. Everybody needs game plans. Financial independence game plan, your investment game plan. Don't think in your head. Put it on paper. Don't operate out of your mind. Operate from paper. I often ask somebody, what are you going to do the next 6 months? And somebody starts to tell me. I say, no, don't tell me. Show me. Show me your game plan for the next 6 months. Then I can look at things and maybe I can help. But you got to operate from paper. Put it on a game plan. Take action on what you found out. Now here's the best word I know of to go with action. Massive. See, that'll change everything. Massive action is called the cure-all. If you're going to make calls, make a few thousand. If you're going to make contacts, make a few thousand. If you're going to knock on doors, knock on a few thousand. See, that'll change everything. Here's the language of the poor. I'll try it a time or two and see what happens. It's the way poor people talk. The guy says, well, I'll give it 30 days. 30 days. You could guess his bank balance. You've got to have a better game plan. So here's one of the major things to do starting tomorrow. Take a look at your game plan. If it isn't loaded with massive action, change it tomorrow. Action. The formula really works like this. Pick up a good idea, take heavy action. Pick up a couple of good ideas, take heavy action. That's the formula for success. Heavy action. It's a good thing we can edit all this, right? The formula for success, take heavy action on a good idea. right? That's the ratio. Now here's the key. Don't wait till you've learned 2,000 or 3,000 things. Because that way you'll use up all the time. And you could wind up smart and broke. And hey, it's okay to be dumb and broke. But if a guy's smart and broke, that's pitiful. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge. You'll become a fool. Let your learning lead to action. You can become wealthy. And there's many kinds of wealth. I understand that. Not just money. Money's one of the least of all values. I know some people with a lot of money that are very poor. Evita sings, as for fortune and as for fame, they are illusions. They're not the solutions they promise to be. So there's all kinds of wealth, but to get a big share coming your way, you've got to have a heavy action game plan. Now, here's the third step to personal development, and we'll wrap up personal development. Step number 3, it's just a little caution, and all through life we need little cautions. This one simply says, don't try to beat the system. Find out how it works, work it, but don't try to beat it. Some people learn just enough to start slicing it, shading it, thinning it, cutting corners, and looking for cheap answers. See, don't fall for that. You'll wind up with a cheap life. Find out how it works best and do it that way. Even though it seems to take a little longer, do it right. Don't compromise with right. Now, under this step, here's another key. Be a quick learner. Don't let it take long to teach you. Learn quick. Don't run at the wall too many times. Learn quicker. One guy said he broke his nose 7 times in the same place. Somebody says, looks like you'd stay out of that place. Learn quicker. Now, the third point here is don't be stubborn. See, some people won't change even when a better way comes. They say, well, I've been doing it this way 30 years. Hey, be ready for change. If it's a better way, go for it. But don't try to beat it. Or you'll be like the guy that went to Las Vegas. He didn't have much money. So he didn't want to risk his money gambling. But he gets to Las Vegas and the jackpot bells are ringing. The money's flowing. The lights are flashing. And he can't help himself. He's got to gamble. But instead of gambling with his cash, he decides to play the mental gambling game. And the brilliant scheme he worked out goes like this. He'd pick a number like number 3. Mentally, he would bet a certain amount of money on the number. And whether it won or lost, he would jot down that amount in his little pad. I would have won $5 if I'd have made that bet, just to keep track of it, win or lose. That way, come midnight, he can calculate how he's doing, win or loser, how much, only not his money. Keep his money. Just play this mental gambling game. So here he is around the gambling table, everybody else shelling out their hard-earned cash. He's got this brilliant scheme. Instead of betting with his money, he's betting with his mind, and he lost his mind. Which means don't try to beat the system, I guess. Let's talk about some more parts of personal development. Here's the first one. Physical. The physical side. Got to take care of yourself. Do not neglect to take care of yourself. Good phraseology used in the Bible, in my amateur way, but let me put it to you best I can. Here's what it says. Treat your body like a temple. That's a good phrase, good suggestion. A temple meaning something you take extremely good care of. A temple. That's a good phrase. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed. A temple. A temple. Take good care. It's the only place you've got to live currently. The temple. Nutrition. My mother studied nutrition. Passed it along to me. Passed it along to my father. my children, my grandchildren. What a legacy that was. Learning to just take care of yourself. Key phrase. Some people don't do well because they don't feel well. They've got the gifts, they've got the skills. Maybe they just haven't taken care of themselves. They don't have the vitality. Key phrase. Vitality is a major part of success. Vitality. So take care of yourself. I know a guy that raises racehorses. I'm telling you, the guy feeds his horses better than he feeds himself. He's so careful how he feeds his horses. He's so careful what they eat. He's so careful that they get everything. And because of that extreme care, I mean, these are magnificent animals. They can run like the wind. But you ought to see this guy. 10 steps up a flight of stairs, and I mean, he's all out of breath. His horses can run like the wind, and he can hardly make it up the steps. The guy takes care of his animals better than he takes care of himself. Some people feed their dogs better than they feed their kids. Physical. Now, there's all kinds of parts to physical. Here's one. Appearance is part of the physical. Never have a second chance to make a first impression. Physical side. And here's some of the best advice on appearance I can give you. Comes from ancient script again. It says, God looks on the inside, people look on the outside. Isn't that good information? Now you say, well, people shouldn't judge you by how you look. Well, let me give you a clue. They do. They do. You can't deal in these shoulds and shouldn'ts. You'll be tipped over the rest of your life. Now, of course, when people get to know you, they'll judge you by more than what they see. But at first, they're going to take a look. So, here's the best advice I can give you. Make sure the outside is a major reflection of what's going on inside. The physical side. A few minutes a day, stay healthy. A little bit of nourish, little bit of study on nutrition, stay healthy. Key. Now here's the next part of personal development, the spiritual part. I'm an amateur on the spiritual side. I do happen to believe that human beings are more than just an advanced life form. An advanced species of the animal kingdom. I do believe humans are a special creation. That's just my personal belief, and I don't ask you to buy it. But here's what I do ask you to buy. If you do believe in spirituality in any manner, here's my best advice. Study it and practice it. Do not neglect your values. Do not neglect your virtues. If you do believe in spirituality, my advice is study it and practice it. Don't let it go unstudied. Don't let it go unnourished, if you do believe. That's my best advice on the spiritual side. Now here's the third part. The mental side. Part of this personal development challenge is to develop mentally. Learn, study, grow, change. It's what schooling is all about. And the human development takes time, incredible amounts of time. That's why we've taken the time for this seminar. It just takes time. Some things you can't cover in a 20-minute speech. You can't cover in a little 5-minute talk. It takes time. For humans, it seems like more time than any other life form, human beings. The little wildebeest in Africa. Guess how much time it's got as soon as it's born to be able to run with the pack so it doesn't get eaten by the lions? Guess how much time it's got? A few minutes. Not hours, not days, minutes. Wow. But the human baby, wow. After 16 years, we're not sure. Right? Unbelievable amount of time it takes. So it does take time for personal development. It does take time for spiritual development, physical development. But here's also what takes time, and that's your mental development. Feeding the mind. Nourishing the mind. Some people read so little, they got rickets of the mind. They couldn't give you a good, strong argument as to their own personal beliefs. I'm telling you, you've got to be able to pick up those ideologies. You've got to be able to pick up the philosophy. And here's the next part. You've got to be able to defend it. If you can't defend your virtues and if you can't defend your values, I'm telling you, even in the 90s, you'll fall prey to philosophies that are not in your best interest. And we've got to help our teenagers, we've got to help our kids especially to be able to debate the major life issues, the political issues and the social issues, and the religious issues and the spiritual issues and the nutritional issues and the economic issues and all of the rest of the issues that are valuable for us to build the kind of equities we want. You got to get yourself ready. And one of the ways you got to get ready is not just physical and not just spiritual. You got to get ready mentally. And this is where Schoaf went to work on me, to be ready mentally, to develop the philosophy and also be able to defend your virtues and your values.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to delve into the depths of procrastination, that insidious foe that holds us back from our dreams, our goals, our very potential. We'll explore the reasons why we procrastinate, the patterns we fall into, and the strategies we can employ to break free from this self-imposed prison. Procrastination, my friends, is not a character flaw or a sign of weakness. It's a common human experience, a tendency to delay or postpone tasks, often due to fear, overwhelm, or simply a lack of motivation. We've all been there, putting off that important work project, avoiding that dreaded phone call, or hitting the snooze button one too many times. But procrastination isn't just about laziness or time management issues. It's about a deeper disconnect between our intentions and our actions. We know what we should do, we want to do it, but somehow we just can't seem to get ourselves to do it. The fear of failure is an insidious foe that lurks in the shadows of our minds, whispering doubts, distorting perceptions, and hindering our progress. It's a universal human experience, a primal instinct that has served us well throughout our evolutionary journey, keeping us from harm and preventing us from making potentially disastrous mistakes. However, in the pursuit of our dreams, our aspirations, and our potential, the fear of failure can become a formidable obstacle, a self-imposed barrier that prevents us from taking risks, stepping outside our comfort zones, and embracing the possibility of greatness. Profound exploration into the depths of human emotion, venturing into the shadowy realm of fear, that insidious foe that holds us captive to its crippling grip. Fear, that primal instinct, that evolutionary safeguard, has served us well throughout our journey as a species, protecting us from harm, keeping us from making potentially disastrous mistakes. But in the pursuit of our dreams, our aspirations, our full potential, fear can morph into a formidable obstacle, a self-imposed barrier that prevents us from taking risks, stepping outside our comfort zones, and embracing the possibility of greatness. Today we seek to understand the roots of fear, to unravel the tangled threads of its origin, to identify the hidden forces that drive its relentless grip on our minds. Fear, my friends, is not a singular entity. It's a complex tapestry woven from the threads of our experiences, our beliefs, and our perceptions. It's a story we've been telling ourselves, a narrative that has shaped our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The roots of fear often lie in the fertile soil of our early experiences, where the seeds of self-doubt and insecurity were sown. Negative experiences, harsh criticism, rejection, or a lack of emotional support can leave indelible marks on our psyches, fostering a deep-seated fear of failure, disapproval, or inadequacy. These early experiences shape our core beliefs, the foundational assumptions that guide our thoughts, behaviors, and decisions. We may internalize messages that we are not good enough, that our worth is determined by our accomplishments, or that we are destined to stumble and fall. These limiting beliefs become the cornerstone of our fear, influencing our perceptions and dictating our choices. Fear can also be triggered by external factors. the looming deadlines, the performance anxieties, the social pressures that weigh heavily upon us. These external stressors activate our fear response, leading to a cascade of emotions, anxiety, avoidance, even physical symptoms. The impact of fear extends far beyond our emotional well-being, casting a long shadow over our physical health, our relationships, and our overall life satisfaction. When fear dictates our choices, we may avoid taking risks, pursuing our passions, or expressing our true selves. This self-imposed exile can lead to stagnation, regret, and a sense of unfulfilled potential. Overcoming fear is a journey of self-discovery, a process of unraveling the tangled threads of our beliefs, challenging the narratives that have held us captive, and cultivating a mindset of resilience and self-compassion. It's about recognizing the power of our thoughts, the impact of our beliefs, and the ability to reshape our perceptions. It's about understanding that fear is not a life sentence, but a habit we can break, a story we can rewrite. By understanding the roots of fear, we can begin to dismantle its hold on our lives. We can identify the specific triggers that activate our fear response, recognize the patterns of avoidance or self-sabotage, and challenge the negative beliefs that fuel our anxiety. With self-awareness and a willingness to confront our vulnerabilities, we can embark on a journey of personal growth, transforming fear from a debilitating obstacle into a catalyst for change and self-discovery. Remember, my friends, true courage lies not in the absence of fear, but in the willingness to face it, learn from it, and move forward with unwavering determination. For it is in the face of fear that we discover our true strength, our resilience, and the extraordinary potential that lies within each of us. Fear, that insidious shadow that lurks in the corners of our minds, has a profound and far-reaching impact on our lives. It's a force that can shape our choices, dictate our actions, and ultimately determine our destiny. Fear, my friends, is not merely an emotional state. It's a powerful motivator, a relentless force that can push us towards safety and security or pull us away from our dreams and aspirations. It's a double-edged sword capable of both protecting us from harm and preventing us from reaching our full potential. When fear takes hold, it can cast a long shadow over our lives, affecting our physical health, our relationships, and our overall happiness. It can manifest in various ways, from anxiety and stress to avoidance and self-sabotage. The physical impact of fear is undeniable. Constant anxiety and stress can lead to a weakened immune system, increased blood pressure, and a host of physical ailments. Fear can disrupt our sleep patterns, hinder our digestion, and even exacerbate chronic health conditions. In our relationships, fear can erode trust, hinder communication, and create barriers to intimacy. It can lead to possessiveness, jealousy, and the inability to fully express our love and affection. We may withdraw from our loved ones, afraid of getting hurt or being rejected. And perhaps most profoundly, fear can stifle our personal growth and prevent us from living fulfilling lives. It can keep us trapped in our comfort zones, afraid to step outside and pursue our passions, take risks, and chase our dreams. We may settle for mediocrity, accepting less than we deserve because we fear failure or rejection. The impact of fear is not limited to our personal lives. It extends to our professional endeavors and our contributions to society. Fear of failure can prevent us from taking on new challenges, pursuing creative ideas, or expressing our opinions. We may shy away from leadership roles, afraid of the responsibility or the potential for criticism. When fear dictates our choices, we miss out on countless opportunities. We deny ourselves the chance to learn, to grow, to make a difference in the world. We remain spectators in the grand tapestry of life, afraid to step onto the stage and play our part. But fear does not have to control our destiny. We have the power to break free from its grip, to challenge its hold on our minds, and to reclaim our lives. It begins with self-awareness, with recognizing the patterns of fear in our lives. We must identify the specific triggers that activate our fear response, the situations and circumstances that make us feel anxious, insecure, or overwhelmed. Once we understand our triggers, we can begin to challenge the negative beliefs that fuel our fear. We must question the stories we've been telling ourselves, the assumptions we've made about our abilities and limitations. As we challenge a belief, we can cultivate a mindset of resilience and self-compassion. We must learn to be kind to ourselves, to forgive our mistakes, and to embrace our imperfections. We must believe in our strength, our potential, and our ability to overcome challenges. Overcoming fear is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks along the way, moments of doubt and hesitation. But with each step forward, we gain strength, confidence, and a clear vision of the life we desire to create. So, my friends, let us shed the heavy cloak of fear and embrace the extraordinary potential that lies within each of us. Let us step out of the shadows and into the light, where our dreams await, ready to be realized. Let us live boldly, courageously, and unapologetically, free from the shackles of the realm of perfectionism, that relentless pursuit of flawlessness, that insatiable desire to achieve an unattainable ideal. Perfectionism, my friends, is a double-edged sword, capable of both propelling us towards excellence and holding us captive in a cycle of self-doubt and procrastination. On one hand, perfectionism can be a driving force, motivating us to set high standards, strive for excellence, and produce work of exceptional quality. It can push us to refine our skills, challenge our limitations, and produce results that exceed expectations. However, when perfectionism takes hold, it can morph into a relentless taskmaster, a harsh critic that never quite allows us to be satisfied with our efforts. It can lead to procrastination, avoidance, and an endless cycle of revisions, hindering our progress and preventing us from sharing our work with the world. The roots of perfectionism often lie in our early experiences, in messages we've internalized from parents, teachers, or society at large. We may have been praised for our achievements, but our mistakes were met with criticism or disappointment. This can lead to a belief that our worth is determined by our accomplishments, fueling a relentless pursuit of flawlessness. Perfectionism can manifest in various ways, from setting unrealistic goals and standards to nitpicking over minor details, constantly seeking external validation and fearing failure or criticism. It can lead to anxiety, stress, and even physical symptoms when we feel unable to meet our self-imposed expectations. The impact of perfectionism extends far beyond our work, affecting our relationships, our self-esteem, and our overall well-being. It can prevent us from forming deep connections with others as we fear being judged or rejected. It can erode our self-confidence as we constantly compare ourselves to others and focus on our perceived shortcomings. Perfectionism can trap us in a cycle of striving and never quite achieving, always seeking an elusive ideal that remains just beyond our grasp. We may delay starting projects, fearing the possibility of failure, or we may spend countless hours revising our work, never feeling quite satisfied with the outcome. Breaking free from the shackles of perfectionism requires a shift in mindset, a recognition that flaws and imperfections are not signs of weakness, but rather inevitable aspects of the human experience. It's about embracing the beauty of imperfection, the power of vulnerability, and the courage to share our work, warts and all, with the world. It's about setting smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, that challenge us but remain attainable. It's about celebrating our progress along the way, recognizing our accomplishments without being overly attached to the outcome. It's about embracing a growth mindset, understanding that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for learning and improvement. It's about seeking feedback from trusted mentors and peers, valuing constructive criticism as a tool for growth. And most importantly, it's about cultivating self-compassion, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, forgiving our mistakes, and valuing our worth beyond our accomplishments. Remember, my friends, perfection is an illusion, a mirage in the desert of human endeavor. Striving for it is a futile pursuit, a journey without end. Instead, let us embrace the imperfections that make us human, the flaws that give our work authenticity and depth. Let's strive for excellence, not perfection, and let the fear of failure be a catalyst for growth, not a barrier to progress. Let us share our work with the world, imperfections and all, for it is in our authenticity that we find true connection and fulfillment. We venture today into the labyrinth of overwhelm, the tangled web of tasks, responsibilities, and obligations that often threatens to consume us, leaving us feeling disoriented, unproductive, and trapped in a cycle of stress and anxiety. Overwhelm, my friends, is not a sign of weakness or inefficiency. It's a common human experience, a natural response to the demands and complexities of modern life. We juggle multiple roles, responsibilities, and expectations, each vying for our attention and energy. When these demands become overwhelming, our minds can shut down, our productivity plummets, and our ability to make decisions deteriorates. We may experience procrastination, avoidance, and a sense of being constantly behind. The roots of overwhelm often lie in our inability to manage our time effectively. We may lack clear goals, prioritize poorly, or struggle to say no to additional commitments. We may also be influenced by external factors, such as unrealistic deadlines, constant interruptions, or a lack of control over our work environment. Overwhelm can manifest in various ways, from physical symptoms like fatigue, headaches, and muscle tension to emotional distress, anxiety, and irritability. It can hinder our ability to think clearly, make decisions, and connect with. In our professional lives, overwhelm can lead to missed deadlines, decreased productivity, and a decline in the quality of our work. It can erode our confidence, damage our relationships with colleagues, and hinder our career advancement. In our personal lives, overwhelm can strain our relationships, disrupt our sleep patterns, and leave us feeling constantly drained and unfulfilled. It can prevent us from enjoying hobbies, pursuing our passions, and engaging in activities that bring us joy. Overcoming overwhelm requires a multifaceted approach, addressing both the underlying causes and the immediate symptoms. It involves setting clear goals, prioritizing tasks effectively, and managing our time efficiently. It also requires developing strategies for managing stress, asserting boundaries, and seeking support when needed. Motivation, my friends, is the lifeblood of success, the invisible force that transforms our dreams into reality. It is the catalyst that pushes us beyond our comfort zones, enabling us to overcome obstacles, persevere through setbacks, and achieve extraordinary feats. Yet motivation can be a capricious companion, often wavering in the face of challenges, distractions, and the inevitable ebbs and flows of life. We may find ourselves stuck in a rut, our enthusiasm waning, our goals fading into the background, replaced by a sense of inertia and apathy. The roots of motivation often lie in our core beliefs, the deep-seated convictions that shape our perception of ourselves and our potential. When we believe that we are capable, that our actions matter, and that we can achieve our goals, motivation naturally springs forth. However, when doubts creep in, when we question our abilities or believe that success is beyond our reach, motivation can dwindle, leaving us feeling disengaged and uninspired. Motivation can also be influenced by external factors, such as a lack of direction, a sense of meaninglessness in our work, or a lack of connection to our goals. The impact of a lack of motivation extends far beyond our productivity and achievements. It permeates every aspect of our lives. It can lead to procrastination, avoidance, and a general sense of dissatisfaction. We may neglect our health, withdraw from our relationships, and lose sight of our passions and dreams. Overcoming the lack of motivation requires a multifaceted approach, addressing both the internal and external factors that contribute to our demotivation. It involves cultivating a growth mindset, establishing clear goals, and creating a supportive environment that fosters motivation and engagement. Remember, my friends, motivation is not a fixed trait. It's a muscle that needs to be exercised regularly by cultivating a growth mindset, setting meaningful goals, and creating a supportive environment. You can tap into the reservoir of motivation that lies within you. Unleash the spark within, ignite the fire of passion, and embark on a journey of purpose, fulfillment, and extraordinary achievement. Let motivation be the compass that guides you towards your dreams, the fuel that propels you towards success, and the driving force that transforms your life into an extraordinary masterpiece. Negative thoughts, my friends, are not merely fleeting mental chatter. They are powerful forces that can shape our beliefs, influence our decisions, and ultimately determine our destiny. They can be the architects of self-doubt, the catalyst for procrastination, and the barriers to our dreams. These negative thoughts often stem from our early experiences, from messages we've internalized from parents, teachers, or society at large. We may have been criticized for our mistakes, ridiculed for our imperfections, or told that we were not good enough. These experiences can leave indelible marks on our psyches, fostering a deep-seated belief that we are not worthy of success or happiness. Negative self-talk can manifest in various ways, from self-deprecation and self-criticism to catastrophizing and assuming the worst. We may constantly compare ourselves to others, focusing on their perceived strengths and our own perceived shortcomings. We may dwell past mistakes, replaying them in our minds like a broken record. The impact of negative thoughts extends far beyond our emotional well-being. It affects our physical health, our relationships, and our overall life satisfaction. When we constantly bombard ourselves with negativity, we can experience stress, anxiety, and even physical symptoms like headaches, fatigue, and digestive issues. In our relationship, negative thoughts can lead to distrust, insecurity, and a sense of worthlessness. We may withdraw from our loved ones, fearing rejection or criticism. We may sabotage our own happiness, subconsciously choosing partners or relationships that reinforce our negative beliefs. And perhaps most profoundly, negative thoughts can stifle our personal growth and prevent us from living fulfilling lives. They can keep us trapped in our comfort zones, afraid to take risks, pursue our passions, or express our true selves. We may settle for mediocrity, accepting less than we deserve because we believe we are not capable of achieving more. Overcoming negative thoughts is not about silencing our inner critic or suppressing our emotions. It's about developing a more balanced and empowering perspective. It's about recognizing the power of our thoughts, the impact of our beliefs, and the ability to reshape our perceptions. It's about understanding that negative thoughts are not always accurate reflections of reality. They are often distorted interpretations based on our past experiences and limiting beliefs. It's about learning to challenge these negative thoughts, to question their validity, and to replace them with more supportive and empowering ones. Self-reward, my friends, is not a mere indulgence or a fleeting pleasure. It is a powerful tool for motivation, a catalyst for growth, and an essential ingredient for achieving our goals. It is the act of acknowledging our accomplishments, appreciating our efforts, and reinforcing our commitment to our journey. When we reward ourselves for progress, we send a powerful message to our subconscious mind, reinforcing the positive behaviors that lead to success. We create a feedback loop, a cycle of action, recognition, and reward that fuels our motivation and keeps us moving forward. The roots of self-reward often lie in our early experiences, in the positive reinforcement we received as children for achieving milestones and reaching goals. These experiences shape our understanding of the value of hard work and the importance of celebrating our accomplishments. However, as we navigate the complexities of adulthood, we may lose sight of the importance of self-reward. We may get caught up in the relentless pursuit of goals, neglecting to acknowledge our progress along the way. We may fall into the trap of believing that only the final destination matters, disregarding the significance of each step we take. Self-reward can manifest in various ways, from small indulgences like a relaxing bath or a delicious treat to larger rewards like a weekend getaway or a new gadget. The key is to choose rewards that are meaningful to you, that align with your values and interests, and that genuinely bring you joy. The impact of self-reward extends far beyond the immediate moment of gratification. It has a profound effect on our overall motivation, engagement, and well-being. When we reward ourselves for progress, we boost our mood, increase our resilience, and enhance our ability to persevere through challenges. Self-reward can also strengthen our commitment to our goals, creating a positive association with the process of achieving them. It can help us break down large goals into smaller, more manageable steps, making the journey less daunting and more enjoyable. Remember, my friends, self-reward is not a sign of weakness or indulgence. It is a tool for empowerment, a strategy for success, and a celebration of the remarkable journey of personal growth. Embrace the power of self-reward. Acknowledge your progress. Embark on a path of fulfillment, achievement, and extraordinary living. Action is not merely a physical movement. It's a manifestation of our inner power, a testament to our resolve, and a declaration of our commitment to our goals. It's the conscious choice to step out of our comfort zones, to embrace uncertainty, and to pursue our dreams with unwavering determination. The roots of action often lie in our core beliefs, the deep-seated convictions that shape our perception of ourselves and our potential. When we believe in our abilities, when we trust our instincts, and when we know that we are capable of making a difference, action becomes a natural expression of our inner strength. However, as we navigate the complexities of life, we may lose sight of the power of action. We may become trapped in a cycle of overthinking, analysis, paralysis, and the fear of failure. We may allow our dreams to fade into the background, replaced by inertia, excuses, and the false comfort of familiarity. Embracing the power of action requires a shift in mindset, a recognition that progress rarely occurs without movement, that dreams remain elusive without effort, and that extraordinary results are the culmination of consistent, unwavering action. Action can manifest in various ways, from taking the first step towards a new goal to making a difficult decision to pursuing an opportunity that excites us. It's about breaking down large goals into smaller, actionable steps and taking consistent, forward-oriented steps. The impact of action is undeniable. It transforms our thoughts into reality, our intentions into accomplishments, and our dreams into tangible achievements. It builds momentum, fuels confidence, and reinforces our belief in our ability to make a difference. Action also opens doors to new possibilities, introduces us to unexpected opportunities, and connects us with like-minded individuals who share our passion and drive. It allows us to learn from our experiences, refine our. Remember, my friends, action is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking the first step, even if it's imperfect, and continuing to move forward even when faced with setbacks. Embrace the power of action, unleash the extraordinary potential that lies within, and embark on a journey of transformation, achievement, and extraordinary living. The foundation of achievement and the driving force behind extraordinary results. Effort, my friends, is not merely exertion or physical labor. It's the embodiment of our commitment, the manifestation of our determination, and the testament to our unwavering pursuit of our goals. Effort is not about seeking perfection or achieving flawless outcomes. It's about embracing the journey, honoring the process, and recognizing that true growth and fulfillment lie in the consistent, dedicated application of our skills and abilities. The roots of effort often lie in our core beliefs, the deep-seated convictions that shape our perception of ourselves and our potential. When we believe in our ability to learn, to grow, and to overcome obstacles, effort becomes a natural expression of our inner strength and our desire to make a difference. However, as we navigate the complexities of life, we may lose sight of the significance of effort. We may become preoccupied with outcomes, fixated on achieving instant success, and discouraged by setbacks and temporary failures. We may overlook the power of consistent, dedicated effort, the force that transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary achievements. Embracing the power of effort requires a shift in mindset, a recognition that true success is not a destination, but a journey, a continuous process of learning, growth, and refinement. It's about understanding that our worth is not solely defined by the outcome of our endeavors, but by the effort we put into them. Effort can manifest in various ways, from the diligent pursuit of knowledge and skills to the unwavering perseverance in the face of challenges. It's about showing up every day, giving our best, and learning from both successes and mistakes. The impact of effort extends far beyond the immediate task at hand. It shapes our character, builds our resilience, and cultivates a growth mindset. When we consistently put in the effort, we develop a sense of self-discipline, strengthen our problem-solving skills, and enhance our ability to adapt to change. In our personal lives, effort fosters stronger relationships, deeper connections, and a greater appreciation for the simple joys of life. It allows us to contribute meaningfully to our communities, make a positive impact on the world, and leave a lasting legacy. Remember, my friends, effort is not a finite resource. It's a renewable power source that lies within each of us. By embracing the power of effort, we unlock our true potential, transform our dreams into reality, and embark on a journey of extraordinary achievement and fulfillment. Entering into the realm of self-compassion, the transformative practice of treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding, and acceptance that we extend to others. Self-compassion, my friends, is not a sign of weakness or self-indulgence. It's a testament to our strength, our resilience, and our ability to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life with grace and understanding. It's about embracing our imperfections, forgiving our mistakes, and recognizing our inherent worth, regardless of our accomplishments or failures. The roots of self-compassion often lie in our early experiences, in the messages we've internalized from parents, teachers, or society at large. We may have been conditioned to believe that our worth is determined by our achievements, that our mistakes define us, and that we must constantly strive for perfection in order to be worthy of love and acceptance. These messages can leave deep scars on our psyches, fostering a harsh inner critic that constantly judges, criticizes, and berates us, leading to feelings of inadequacy, shame, and low self-esteem. We may become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, constantly comparing ourselves to others, focusing on our perceived shortcomings, and overlooking our strengths and accomplishments. Self-compassion is the antidote to this self-inflicted suffering. It's about recognizing that we are not alone in our struggles, that everyone makes mistakes, experiences setbacks, and faces challenges. It's about extending to ourselves the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a dear friend or loved one. Self-compassion can manifest in various ways, from acknowledging our emotions without judgment, to forgiving ourselves for past mistakes, to practicing mindfulness and self-care. It's about treating ourselves with the same patience, understanding, and encouragement that we would offer a child learning to walk or a friend facing adversity. The impact of self-compassion extends far beyond our emotional well-being. It affects our physical health, our relationships, and our overall life satisfaction. When we treat ourselves with compassion, we reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. We lower our blood pressure, improve our sleep, and strengthen our immune system. In our relationships, self-compassion fosters stronger connection, deeper intimacy, and a greater ability to empathize with others. We become more understanding, less judgmental, and more accepting of ourselves and those around us. And perhaps most profoundly, self-compassion liberates us from the shackles of perfectionism, allowing us to embrace our imperfections, celebrate our authenticity, and pursue our dreams with unwavering confidence. It empowers us to accept ourselves fully, flaws and all, and recognize that we are worthy of love, happiness, and success, just as we are. Remember, my friends, self-compassion is not a destination. It's a journey, a continuous practice of self-acceptance, self-love, and self-understanding. By embracing self-compassion, we embark on a path of personal growth, emotional resilience, and extraordinary fulfillment. Let self-compassion be the guiding light that illuminates your path, the gentle breeze that soothes your soul, and the unwavering force that empowers you to embrace your true self.